In the last activity, you were asked to classify the equations as linear and nonlinear. So here is the result. Now, what have you noticed with those that are nonlinear? Okay, they have the highest exponent of 2. So those equations are known as quadratic equations.
I want you to watch this video clip for you to understand what quadratic equation is. You may get your notebook and jot down some important notes.
All of us remember what quadratic polynomials are. The general form of a quadratic polynomial is ax squared plus bx plus c, where the constant a is not equal to 0. The degree of the quadratic polynomial is 2. So what's a quadratic equation? An equation, as we know, always has two sides, one on each side of the equal to sign. When we equate this general form of a quadratic polynomial to 0, we get the general or standard form of a quadratic equation. Remember that a is not equal to 0 and the constants a, b and c are real numbers. For instance, 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 equals 0 is a quadratic equation. Comparing it to the standard form, we get a as 2, b as 4 and c as 2. A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x and c is the constant. This is called a quadratic equation in variable x. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0 is also a quadratic equation. Negative 3x squared plus 12 equals 0 too. Yes, you might not see the x with power 1 in this equation, but it still is a quadratic equation. That's because the degree of the polynomial on the left is still 2. Can you find the values of a, b and c in each of these cases? Here are the values. Notice that in the second case, the value of coefficient of x is 0. And that's not a problem at all. The important condition is that a must not be equal to 0.
What are some important points that you should remember about quadratic equation? A quadratic equation in one variable is a mathematical sentence of degree 2 that can be written in the following standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. For you to be guided in our next activity, I want you to look at the example 3x squared minus 6x minus 10 is equal to 0. Notice that 3x squared is the quadratic term, negative 6x is the linear term, and negative 10 is the constant term. You are going to classify whether the given is quadratic or not quadratic. A question is posted in your Google classwork.